postman to show up with a better mosquito net, because this one is too loose around the neck and the black flies get in it. But I found one was supposed to be a lot bigger and have a lot more on the bottom, so when you lift your head you don't open up a gap. But man, this soil we found when the excavator dug up that area is awesome. I got like, I don't know, three barrelfuls originally when we covered this, and you can see the winter ryegrass is coming up. But that winter ryegrass is taking too long. We're gonna let more come up over the next like 4 or 5 days, and we're gonna pile all the soil right here at the front. But in like a week we're gonna spread all the soil out. But the soil that's down there is just so epic. So I put 3 down there, and then I have 3 in a pile here. I would say from the size of this, that is probably 6 more loads, and then this will pretty much be covered and have enough in it to start planting. And then we're gonna put mulch on top of it as well. But stuff's just so perfect. It's just like wood and dirt and everything mixed up so nicely. Lots of worms too. That's a good sign. So try to get 6 more barrels in here today and tomorrow, and then we'll spread the cow manure over it, and this garden should be ready to go. And that garden I'm covering up with hay. I'm gonna get some more together tonight and finish covering that. And when the postman comes, he's also bringing some chicken wire. So we're gonna use natural post, but we're gonna use chicken wire, I guess, for the fence, because the wild fence thing didn't really work. I really don't have enough materials here for that. I'd end up using pretty much all the trees in this area to do it, which I guess I could have, but that would have just taken way too long and way too many resources. So I'm gonna put a chicken wire fence around this. It's 4 feet tall, and that'll keep the rabbits out, and hopefully the deer don't want to get in there. We're gonna do a little patch of corn somewhere, and we'll do the corn without a fence. And if the deer and rabbits want to come and eat it, then so be it. But they probably won't eat that much of it. I mean, if I do a nice patch of it, we should still have corn at the end of the year, hopefully. But you gotta have a cover garden that covers your garden from the animals, you know. I'll have a couple different things that I'll plant for the animals to eat, and hopefully it'll keep them out of these 2 gardens. But yeah, 6 more loads, you know, hauling loads with a wheelbarrow uphill. It's never fun, but it wouldn't be so bad if these black flies went absolutely crazy right now. I got like another 2 weeks of this, and then the black flies should die down quite a bit. All right, I'm gonna get back to it. All this long grass by the road. It's been growing real good by the road. Look at that load. Yeah. 2 more loads like that, and we'll have that other bed covered completely. And then it won't be drying out so much on us. A little rainstorm kicked up. I'm trying to hang out here at the end of the driveway because I have an order coming from UPS right now. This is about the time they come, so I was gonna just cut grass down here and collect it. And I was hoping that they were gonna come while I was down here. Started raining pretty hard for a second there, but seems like it's kind of cooling off and dying down. But man, you know, the rain's actually good. Now that we have the road done, it can rain a lot, because that just means less watering in the garden, which I have to haul all the water by hand for the garden, which is like 10 to 20 gallons a day once we get that whole thing set up. And also the black flies go and take cover in the woods, so I don't have to have my head net on the whole time, which is a godsend, because let me tell you, these black flies are the worst. It's the hardest part of being out here at this time of year for sure, is the black flies. So waiting for the Amazon package. I have a couple things in the Amazon package to help with the black flies too. I have one of those no-seam net jackets coming, which is probably really hot during the summer, but in this first month of spring, these black flies are just so bad. I'd sacrifice the heat to have relief from these things, because even the head net I have, they get up under. And I also have another head net coming that's supposed to be a lot bigger. It's supposed to have a lot more coverage, so when you move your head and stuff, it doesn't lift up and you get, you know, black flies coming up the hole. Hopefully that works. Alright, well, I'm gonna wait here a little bit longer. If it starts really pouring down, I'm gonna have to go up. Hopefully he'll honk when he gets here. Well, I could definitely use a tractor, but 2/3 of the way full. I got about 3 more loads in the wheelbarrow. Man, that soil is so nice. It's gonna retain water so nice this summer. Once I put some manure on it, and probably put a bag of bat guano too. I always like growing with that, so I'm gonna buy a bag of that, have that sent out. I got most of that garden covered in grass, just that one section left. And that high grass down by the road, cut that down quick. It builds up quick, so have that covered by tomorrow afternoon. Have this filled in by tomorrow afternoon. And if this post guy ever shows up, I'll put the fence up by tomorrow night. And then we can start planting in this sucker. Also, if you haven't noticed, the wood chipper didn't come, but UPS hasn't come yet. But the site says that UPS is waiting for it to get shipped to them still from the distributor. So I don't know. The email I got saying it was going to be here on Monday, it probably just meant that it was going to be to UPS by Monday. I hear a truck coming. It's either a login truck, most likely, or it's the postal person. UPS. Man, I'm so happy we have all this dirt though. This is like gonna save me $500 in dirt I was gonna buy for this sucker. 2 gardens, almost done. Well, no UPS guy, but the guy from the mill came with the cement for underneath the cabin. And look, all the stuff to build the platforms. Yeah. Help him unload the cement. Nice, so all the wood for the platform, center blocks to prop up the platforms and even them out. And then these big round blocks, 115 pounds a piece. This is what was recommended by the cabin guy. He said, that's what you want. You don't want center blocks because they can crack and they're likely to sink in the mud really quick. So you put these round ones down, and if they after these sink in a little bit, you know, you put some of those flat ones under it to jack it up and even it out. But since we did this pad here, hopefully they don't sink in too much. It's all gravel, so should be fine. And look who else came while we were unloading. The UPS guy. He's just thrilled when he gets out here. You know, black flies everywhere. And I don't know, I think the UPS guy usually just goes past this spot in a hurry. He's not used to having to make a stop way out here. But seems like a cool guy, getting the job done. And hopefully all this stuff is fine down here. Hopefully the junkies don't get to it tonight and come and steal any of these blocks. The pressure treated wood's what we really don't want stolen. That's expensive stuff, so fingers crossed.
All right, fingers crossed.
See you guys up at camp. Just got back up at camp. I don't know. Maybe the wind picked up at some point when we were down there cutting grass. A lot of stuff is blown around up here. These boxes were in the fire, and now they're over here. But it was probably just the wind, I guess. But this couldn't have been the wind. Look, that's right in the path, which we went to town today, so obviously that couldn't be in the path, or we wouldn't have been able to drive by. It kind of looks like something jumped over this pile of debris and kicked out a couple branches when it did. So I don't know. Must have been the moose. I can't think of anything else that would have jumped over that pile like that. Something did though. There's no other explanation for why those trees are all out of the pile and in the roadway. Have to be the moose. So maybe we'll see it in a couple minutes, as we're going to go down and fetch a pail of water while the bugs are kind of down. You know, it was just raining pretty hard, so the bugs are pretty much taking shelter. So we're going to get the water, and if we have still time left in daylight left, I might start hauling some of this wood up to the platform site, just so it's not on the road and I don't have to worry about people stealing it. at least get enough wood up here to do the first platform, so then I don't have to worry about it so much. I'll try to get some work done while the bugs are not bad. It's just a couple mosquitoes out right now. It's hardly any black flies, so get some work done in the next hour and a half of sunlight. Well, the holes I made definitely are producing much cleaner water. It's all like filled today. You can see it coming out the hill right there. Still seeping. But I don't know, the pipe thing isn't really working. So, I don't know, maybe I have to just dig this out and dig a big hole here. And maybe line it with stones or something so there's not so much silt and mud at the bottom. If I come through here, this is the first place. Look at all that sand. That's how fast this has been flowing today. That's all much cleaner water too. But it's kind of mixed in with the beaver water. But we'll gather a little of this too. I don't know, I'm going to figure something out. I mean, we're going to get working on that shallow well with that auger at some point here in the next couple weeks. But I was hoping that this water down here would be collectible. I don't know, maybe I just need to poke holes in the bin itself and just let the water seep into the bin. And maybe put some no-seam screen around the bottom of it or something. But I don't know, I gotta think about it. But I gotta finish collecting water and I'll strain it up at camp and hopefully take a flower shower tomorrow morning. Well, 7:30, still hauling stuff. I hauled all the cement bricks up to the platform site. Start grabbing some of this wood, grab 4 pieces at least and see how that goes, and probably call it a night after that and just come get the rest tomorrow morning. But tell you, this is the new head net that I got. It is the jam. We'll talk about it a little bit later or tomorrow, but I've been working out here for a full hour now and I only got 1 bug in the net. With the other one I was getting stuff in it constantly, and there's a lot. They're really thick right now, so this thing is a win. I'll tell you what brand it is when we get back. It's just so much longer. It's like 10 inches longer than the other one. So as you can see, it bunches up around the neck. So even when I move, it doesn't lift up. Love it. Yeah, I don't know about this. 4 at a time, they're pretty heavy. Might just want to put a blanket over the top of the escape and I could probably haul like 12 at a time with that thing. Might be the solution tomorrow. I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna haul this up at least and get started on it. But this pressure treated wood is really heavy and it's gonna just rip up the sled probably. Doing all this, the stones, dragging the cement bricks back, already did quite a number. There are the round ones for the cabin. Well, I guess I'll start pulling this thing. Alright, well, there's the first load. Definitely labor of love there, hauling it on this sled. I don't think of any easier way. Maybe tomorrow I'll pull the escape down there and put a blanket on top and see if we can haul some that way. That might be easier. I could probably at least get 8 of them at a time, maybe more. The pressure treated is heavy, plus it's wet, so it's really heavy. But this is the spot right here where the first platform is going to go. Put it right here, and this place probably gets the best breeze out of any place. Plus, it's the best view of the sunset from right here. And you can see the greenhouse, the wild garden, pretty much see everything. Plus you're close enough to the cabin where you can kind of hear the cabin, and you can't see the road, but you're right here. You could definitely hear if anybody pulled up on the road. Clouds are doing weird things tonight. We'll see. Should still be a pretty good sunset, but I don't know, those clouds are kind of thick there. So once it goes down below those clouds, it might be the end of it. Whew. End of night 35. End of the first day on week 6. Getting some stuff done though. and the cabin people said they think it's coming on Wednesday. So it's Monday now, and they think they're gonna bring it on Wednesday, Thursday at the latest. So next 4 days we'll have a cabin. Finally. It's epic. Super psyched. As you can see, all these black flies are absolutely crazy. This net's working really good though. I'm glad I got this. The best $7 I've spent the whole season. Alright, I'm gonna call it a night. Go get some water on and get the fire going so I can get some food going. Oh yeah. It is another great sunset. This is why this is where the platform has to go. Is you just get sunsets every day. Although I think it's pretty high in the sky. It's probably gonna come. I don't know. When I got here, I thought it was setting over here. But it can't already be going down. That doesn't happen until July. I don't know. I guess that's north. But I don't know. I think it's probably going to go and travel over here and start setting over here. And then it will come back and start setting over there. But either way, this is the best place for sunset pretty much year round. So this is where we're going to build the first platform. We have enough wood to frame out 2 platforms, and then whichever one we're going to set up on, we're going to put plywood on. So when winter comes, cold air isn't coming up through. And I'm going to figure out what we're doing for the second one. But the summer platform, it's probably better to have porching on it, like a porch on it. Especially since it probably won't have a canvas tent on it all the time. So if we put like porching or like decking on it, then we can like put like weather protection sealant on it, and also get pressure treated, and then it should be fine for multiple years without having the tent on it. But right here we're going to put the tent on it, and we're going to put it probably on plywood. One, because it's cheaper, and right now we're getting limited on cash now. Really, I need to stop spending money on projects, and all the money that I have left saved needs to go towards payment on the property and paying the property down and paying it off eventually, sometime in the next couple years, hopefully. Have a little bit of money on an Amazon card that I was given, and I still have about $700 or $600 in Home Depot gift cards. So we still have money to do some stuff, but we really gotta start limiting it. We've pretty much spent all the money we were planning on spending. We fixed the driveway, we got wood for platforms, and the cabin's coming. And once the cabin's here, oh, and it was $350 or like $400 to set up the greenhouse, which was pretty important. We needed a greenhouse so we could get this thing going and get plant starts going. Because it's been cold. It's still cold at night right now. I mean, these plants would survive outside right now, but they wouldn't be too happy. But in the next week, it's going to start warming up a lot, and spring's been really late this year anyways. Like usually it is pretty warm by now. But another week or so, we're going to start putting all these starts in the garden. And the potatoes too are up. I can see a green little crown in every single hole that we put potatoes in now. So we got russet potatoes on the way for sure. Look at the sunsets. Usually when you're in the woods, all you see is the woods. And when the sun goes down, it just gets dark. You don't get any sunset usually. Here in Maine, it's pretty rare, but we're on highland, and if you go up the road about 6 miles, it's even higher, and you can see Mount Katahdin. If we were on a 30-foot fire lookout right here on the property, right where we're standing, we could see Mount Katahdin in the sunset. So I've been thinking we're gonna have to build a platform, a fire tower of some kind. I had to build some sort of tower because I have an epic sunset with a mountain range in it, the biggest mountain in Maine. So I need to figure out how to get a view of that every night. If I had a fire tower too, that went above the tree line, my internet would work out here, and the phone service would work always up at the top of the fire tower. Now I'm just gonna watch the sunset and get the fire going, get some food going, and heat up some water so tomorrow morning the water will still be warm enough that I can take a shower. So I definitely need one today. Alright, good night. Day 35. First day of week 6. Man, this is why it's always worth waiting until dark out here. Once the sun gets below the clouds, it just looks crazy. The clouds are just have so much depth out here. It looks crazy. I love it. Super epic. Man, this property's got everything going on that I was looking for, that's for sure. All the neighbors are cool. The mill delivers wood for free. You just make your order and they'll come and you can pay for it at the driveway. So epic. I met that good gravel guy right away because the guy at town hall is super cool and has been here for 85 years. His whole life he's been out here working in this town. So he just knows everything about the area and he runs the town. So it's cool that he's so cool and that I get along with him so well because, man, at the survival property, at the last property, I didn't get along with the people at town at all. I mean, I didn't not get along with them, but they just didn't want to deal with people and they did not want to talk to people about problems and stuff. They just wanted to be left alone and get their salary, you know? But out here, this guy is like all about getting stuff done. You know, I got my number on the road and he even brought me a state sign, a green sign that says my number and then says the street that we're on. So it's easy to find this place now. Pretty epic. Oh, plus the trash collection thing. I would have never imagined I'd be able to drop trash at the front of the driveway every Wednesday. It's pretty sick. So things are going along. 100-acre plantation. And epic sunsets every night. Man, mega win. Alright, see you guys in the AM. Day 36. Ugh. Looks like it's a nice day out there. Better get up. Get to it. Go water everything. And then start laying stuff out for building that platform. I'm gonna get that done. Alright, better get up. Alright, got most of the wood up here we're gonna need. Got my Bob the Builder tool pouch, a level, a measuring tape, the village parang to clear out those trees, and there's a flat shovel here somewhere. I'm gonna have to go find that. Use the shovel to kind of dig up the ground, make sure that these cement blocks are even and flat and level, because we want this thing fairly level with just a little bit of a tilt to one side, so if water does get on it, it'll kind of go off of it, you know. So that's what I'm working on today. Oh, I got the trusty head net. This thing's awesome. And yeah, sadly, hate to say it, but there is a giant ant hill right in the middle of where this platform's gonna go. There's a lot of ants all over this property. I mean, one of the blueberry patches just has like a whole colony of hills, and there's like billions of ants over there. But the ants over here are right under where the platform's gonna be, so I sadly have to put ant poison down and kill those ones because they're just gonna take over the canvas tent every time I set up. So it is sad to kill a whole colony of ants, but there's a lot more around, and definitely a lot more of that same kind of ant. I've seen a lot of them. So it's just this one colony. It does suck, but I don't know. They'll just drive me crazy. They'll be all over camp constantly if I leave it there, because it's gonna go right on top of where it is. So I'm gonna get to building this thing. Alright, this project's coming along here. It's pretty level, and yeah, it looks pretty square too. I mean, the blocks under it aren't really that square, but the frame itself is square and it should be pretty stable. Hopefully 12 feet across isn't too long. I don't know, maybe I'm gonna need to put some blocks in the middle here at some point. Hopefully not. If I have to though, I guess I'll just pull the nails and take a couple pieces out. And there's gonna be a little porch here, which is gonna have boards going this way. So before I get the board behind it nailed in, I have to do the vertical boards for the porching. It's like 2 feet of porching. So we want water to be able to drain off of that 2 feet hangover without going into the tent. Man, but the bugs are absolutely relentless right now. They are crazy. I'm still carrying wood up from the driveway. Didn't get too far on this. I ended up going and collecting some wood at some point, and to be perfectly honest, the black flies were absolutely crazy. They're kind of calmed down right now, but today it was definitely beginning of the peak season. We probably have 2 weeks of this, and it was so bad I couldn't even work out here. They get in your pants, they get everywhere, and when they bite, you get a big ass welt. So I just avoided them for most of the day and got what I could done. But tomorrow, hopefully I'll finish this up. And I still got to call for the plywood to put on it. So hopefully the cabin's coming tomorrow, maybe Thursday, but I think it might be coming tomorrow. I'm gonna keep hauling some wood from the driveway up here and wait for sunset. Well, morning of day 36 or 37. I don't know, I think it's 36. I wish I had brought the camera with me. I just went to drop off the trash at the end of the driveway, and when I came back up the driveway, there was a male and a female grouse in the road, right in front of the car actually, right in front of the escape. And they were doing like a mating dance thing, and the male kept on cornering the female and like not letting her take off, and they were so occupied they didn't even care that I was there. If I had my phone, I would have just gotten some awesome footage of two grouse interacting with each other. But I'm gonna head back out there and see if I can find them, because they didn't take off. They just went into the bush right here next to camp. So I'll see if I can catch them, because I think they like to do their little dance and stuff out in the open. So I'll go out there and see what's going on. Figures you gotta always have the camera on you. I was charging, so man, sucks. That was some good footage right there. Yeah, there they are. The rough grouse. It looks like a chicken, slightly smaller than a chicken. That'd be good eating if it was October. Like pecking at each other. Go grab the tripod. Alright, well, it's hot in here in the greenhouse, but using this as the shop because the black flies don't follow you into the place you're going. You know, you shake them off before you come in, and then they don't try to get into shelters. They don't get into the canvas tent. They don't get into the greenhouse. Mosquitoes, if they can smell the CO2 coming out, they'll try to get in. If there's a place to get in, they'll get in. eventually, and they get into the canvas tent. But the mosquitoes aren't bad during the day, and the black flies are horrible out there, so we're just doing all of our cuts in here, and then we'll put on the bug net, and then go out there and hammer everything in, and then get back out. I mean, it's a shame at this time of year, best weather of the year, you know. It's not cold, but it's not too hot, and it's a shame because this is the best time to be outside. But the black flies are just awful right now. There's like clouds of them, and even with the mask on, you can't get them all. And then the next morning you wake up and you can see how bad they got you, because you'll just have bites all over your neck, back of your head. All right, well, I gotta cut up all these pieces, and this is for like the patio section on the platform, and then I've got to cut up the last couple of floor joists. This is not easy to make straight cut with, like a straight carpenter cut, like, you know, it's not easy with a bow saw. I thought it was going to be easier. I had used a bow saw for a couple construction projects, but they were really small projects where I didn't have to do a lot of cross cutting. Not the tool you want for doing this. So I ordered a Stanley cross cut hand saw because I don't have any construction stuff really. All my stuff is either for the woods, or I have a lot of mechanic stuff too, because I do auto mechanics as well. But yeah, that's not the tool for the job. But you know, we need to get this platform done. We can't wait a week and a half for this saw to get here. So we're gonna do this platform like this, but we're gonna wait to do the other two platforms until we have the proper saw, because this is it's really hard to keep it straight, and if it's not straight, then it doesn't butt up to the to whatever the frame is that you're trying to put this wood in, and it's just not good for stability and not good for weight and stuff, or for anything really. So right tool for the job. And bow saw crushes it in the woods, crushes it with firewood. You can survive with the bow saw. You know, you can't cut a whole year's worth of firewood with a bow saw, but you can cut 2 days worth of firewood every day with a bow saw and get your whole year's worth of firewood that way. I love the bow saw. This is one of the best tools for the northern woods that you can have on you. You know, a bow saw and an axe, you're going to be able to get a lot done. But not for construction. So, I got to finish these pieces though. Well, still not quite finished with the platform. I had to call my dad actually, because I wasn't sure about some stuff, because those were flexing a little bit. I thought maybe it's too wide of a gap. So I'm going to put a cementer block there, and then one right here in the middle of the whole thing. And we're going to put braces, one there, one there, one there, one there, and then one in the middle here. And hopefully that does it. Should be pretty firm after that. And I got 4 more of these cut I got to put in. The black flies are just getting the best of me again. But now it's just mosquitoes. Once the sun goes down, it's just mosquitoes. And look at that epic sunset. Man, so nice that this place gets such great sunsets. Such a bonus. Never thought. And then from the platform too, we're a little higher off the ground, and this platform's at the highest spot on the property, so get a really good view from here. Whew. Mosquito heaven. Beautiful spot. 100-acre plantation. What is it, day 36 now? Crazy. Might have to spend 60 days in the tent just so I can say I did it. I think the longest I've spent in the tent is like 45 days or something like that. So, I don't know. It's much cooler in the tent too. I know the cabin's going to be warm. Plus, we still have a lot of construction to do in the cabin, so maybe I won't move right in. We'll see when it comes how I feel about the situation. I'll finish this platform tomorrow morning though. Or at least finish the deck part of it and the framing. And then I got to call and have the mill deliver me some I guess, really thick plywood. Whatever the thickest plywood is that they carry. And then we're gonna put some water sealant on that. And this thing should be golden. Man. I love it. So much depth. Ah. Alright, night YouTubers. See you guys all in the AM. Oh man, the sunset got even crazier. Look at that. I need some nice camera gear. Could have gotten those grouse real close up this morning. And these sunsets. Epic win. I don't know if I said what day it was yesterday. And if I did, I said the wrong day. Because it's day 39 right now, so I think I said it was 37 yesterday, or 36 even. I don't know, it's day 39 though. Look at all these things hopping around. See them? Oh, see if I can get it closer. Look at one of them. I know, they don't stay still very well. See that thing? Oh, there it goes. I'm not sure what they are. For some reason they're all attracted to the hood of my car. But I think it's some sort of mayfly. And I'm not sure if it's the mayfly, but there is a mayfly here that only exists right here on the wetlands that's next to my property. It's one of the reasons why they made it a wildlife management area. Because it's a mayfly that only exists here and it's going extinct. It's on the endangered species list. So I don't know if this is it. This might be it though. I'm not sure. I'll have to do some research tonight and check it out. Well, the platform's all framed out. Just gonna wait a couple days until the cabin gets here and I can move all my stuff to the cabin, and then I'll order the wood so the wood's not getting rained on. You know, the plywood that's gonna be the floor. And then we'll move the tent over there, and we'll use the tent as a screen house and a place to hang out during the summer. It'll probably be a lot cooler in the tent on hot days than it's gonna be in the cabin. The cabin doesn't have a lot of windows, and you know, it's kind of down in the woods there. It's not gonna get the breeze that you get up here. So that's pretty much done, and now I'm working on the fence. I'll show you that in a minute here when I get over there, but I was just checking out these bugs. I don't know what they are. Black flies are still crazy. Mosquitoes are crazy, but more at night. These black flies though, the mosquitoes you can deal with. These black flies are just, they're the worst creature. On my top list of most hated creatures for sure. They're pretty awful. But yeah, I got getting the fence around the garden going. It's just gonna be a chicken wire fence held up by some stakes we're making out of some of the trees we've taken down. So I'll give you a look at that in a minute, but just chilling out, kind of relaxing, taking it easy until these bugs go away. Father's Day, it's in like 10 days, and that supposedly is when these things start dying off. Or at least they're not as bad as they are right now. Like right now they're pretty bad. They're swarming. Alright, see you guys later. I've still got a couple of braces I actually got to put in. Got them all cut already though. You can see there's a fence going up over there. It looks nice when you get up here. And the sun is setting. I guess it's day 39, I don't know. I missed a couple days at some point there. I think some of the rainy days, whoa, where I wasn't filming very much. Man, the mosquitoes are thick now though. It's gonna watch sunset. And then go and cook some dinner. The bugs are crazy. There it is. Sunset got crazy. Knew it was gonna. Looks sweet. End of day 39, tomorrow's day 40, and tomorrow the cabin is definitely coming between 8 and 10 o'clock in the morning. So, gotta get up early, get out, and get ready for it. Oh man, the sunset's just so epic. Morning of day 40, there's a snake hiding under that bag there. Little gardener snake. It's actually not little, it's pretty big for a gardener snake. Man, all these things are popping up. Some of the lettuce, heirloom lettuce that I got didn't pop up. I'm not sure if it's just going to take a real long time or what. But some things didn't germinate really well. These tomato seeds are like 6 years old. So they didn't come up either. But plenty of squashes and pumpkins and kale and broccoli and Brussels sprouts. Corn, sweet corn. Lettuce over there is popping off. It's about 7 days left. We'll be eating some of that. Basil, growing slowly, but growing. All the beet leaf. This is the bulrush or bull red, red bull or whatever they call it. That's really good salad stuff. And last night at about 10 o'clock at night I heard a wolf. Followed by a bunch of coyotes, but I'm pretty sure the first howl I heard, first I heard a neighbor's dog about a half a mile away barking for like 20 minutes. And then it was barking and barking and barking, and then the wolf howled once. And then all of the coyotes around howled. There was like 20 different howls, but the first one definitely sounded like a wolf, did not sound like a coyote. And that dog stopped barking immediately. As soon as that wolf howled, that dog stopped barking and didn't bark again all night. So that was pretty cool. But it sounded really close too. The wolf sounded like it was right in the next lot over, the 26 acres that's right next to me. Or maybe back in the wildlife management area right here, but it was really close. And it was like an echoey howl. It was like the howls that you hear on those Halloween shows. It was pretty cool, but kind of crazy too. I've never heard a wolf in Maine before, but I'm pretty positive that was a wolf. I mean, I know what a coyote sounds like, and it did not sound like coyote. After the wolf howled, though, there was like 20 or 30 coyotes. So maybe it was a coyote that's really just got his stuff together, but I don't know. But I'm just looking at stuff in here, seeing if it needs water. And then we're heading out to the driveway because that cabin's going to come in the next hour and a half sometime. So we're going to get down there at the driveway and make sure everything's ready for her. Alright, well here it is. Yes, the cabin is finally here. It's definitely not that big, but it'll be easy to move around the property. And once we get settled in here, we'll order a cabin that's a little bit bigger. Pretty sweet. Let them get it all backed in here. Bring you guys back when we're dropping it off the trailer. Alright, now he's retracting these things. He retracted those things, and now I put the skids down. They didn't deliver it in that truck, they're just maneuvering it in that truck. Super sweet. Alright, so they touched the skid, 4x4 skid, down on the cement cylinders. And now once they put the weight, take the weight off of the trailer, they'll pull it out and it will slowly drop down, and then we'll roll the rest of these in every 8 feet. Man, that's sweet. All right. 10 by 24 is in place now. Well, the guy's just taking off. Jimmy from the town hall's checking things out, seeing what's going on. And there's our new building. She's a small little building, but it'd be easy to heat in the winter. And it'll be easy to refinish and cheap to refinish. And by next spring, we'll get another building put up on the highland where we really want it. Windows came with screens, which is what I was hoping for. We're gonna build a little wall right here so the bedroom is kind of isolated and really dark. So yeah, keep the sun out of here. But she's pretty small, but she'll serve the purpose. And it's pretty cool getting it dropped off. Got a building officially. And it's level enough that the windows and all the doors work. So, I don't know, I'll put a level on it to see if I need to jack it at all, but it should be pretty good. Well, it's pretty crazy. First time in my life I've owned a piece of property with a building on it. It's pretty awesome. Small little building, but it's got a little storage space in it and put a nice little desk in here. Windows all screened in, so should be able to get some fresh air. I think things pretty nice. Twice the size of the canvas tent inside here, and a sweet little porch. So I was planning on putting a wall right here, so I could have the bed on the other side and kind of have like a bedroom almost, and have the wall come out like 6 feet and then have a 4-foot space that's like a door over here on the other side. And it will be open on top. The wall won't go all the way to the roof. It'll just go to pretty much where the ties are. But I don't know, this thing might be too small to put a wall like that. If you put a wall like that, it's gonna feel real small in here. So I gotta think about that because I'm not sure. I do have the stuff to frame out the wall here. I guess I could frame it out and put it up, and if it's too small, then just take it down, you know? Small space, it's easy to build and take stuff down in the space this small. But I kind of wanted the bedroom to be its own entity, you know? And then if I have someone come here and they sleep on the cot in the cabin with me, I kind of have my own space over there. But most of the time when people come, they're gonna stay up in the canvas tent. But you know, if it's winter time, they might want to stay down here with me. I don't know. You never know. But this is just a starter cabin. We hope to have a cabin that's about twice the size of this up on the highland by next spring. So I'm pretty psyched. I got to figure out what I want to do about insulating it. I got to put some insulation in these walls and then either put wood paneling up or put sheetrock up. I just got to make all these decisions before winter comes. The space is so small though that a cast iron stove is going to blow this place apart. It's going to get so hot in here with the stove going that I probably don't even need to insulate it. But at night when the stove turns off or the stove dies down, it'll get cold in here real quick if you don't have any insulation. So I should probably insulate it. These cedar ties we have here are awesome. They look so cool. Real rustic look. Pretty sweet. And it was $6,200. That includes the $870 delivery fee to get this cabin here. And the company that I bought it from, I don't know, they must only make like 10% on the cabin, because the company that makes the cabins charge about $5,000 for this cabin. So pretty cool. If I tried building it myself, I probably could have gotten it done for about $3,500, but I am not a good carpenter. I never have been really good at cutting straight lines. Even the platform I'm building right now will show you that. Although we're not using the right tools. You know, if I had a table saw and all the right tools, then I could definitely do this. But then you have to invest in all the tools. I'd probably need $2,000 or $3,000 in tools to have everything that I need. Or I don't know, I could probably do it with $1,000 in tools that I don't have, but I don't have any construction tools. All my tools are for the woods and for auto mechanics. I have never really invested in construction tools before. So I gotta slowly do that, at least in hand tools, so I can do some construction work. And I gotta think about if I'm moving down here. You know, the canvas tent is just so much cooler and so much nicer at this time of year that I'm probably not in any hurry to move down here. But here we are. Cabin is here. Metal roof on it. We got to get the gutter system put up because that's really important. And put the gutter system up with some barrels to catch the water so we can be collecting some rainwater, because we definitely need to be doing that. All right, I got to go and fill the garden with the rest of the dirt and get that fence up today. Nice. So the cabin is here, and look, some of the tomatoes are coming up. A bunch of the lettuce that I was gonna give up on is coming up. Early squash is coming up. Winter squash is coming up. I guess some of this stuff is just taking a little longer to germinate than other stuff. Super psyched. These microgreens though aren't working out. To be perfectly honest, I've only grown these under lights before. I've never grown them up in like in a greenhouse or in natural light. And you know, since they have natural light, they're not like stretching. Usually when you have them under lights, they stretch to the lights and you get this like nice big sprout with a little bit of green on it. And that's what you usually use for microgreens. But these have pretty much, they're not stretching because they have plenty of light. They don't have to stretch to the light. So I don't know, the microgreen thing isn't really working the way I thought it was gonna. I think if I put it on the shelf that it came in, it'll make them stretch a lot more because they'll kind of have shade from the shelves above it. But I don't know. Microgreens aren't even that good. So I don't know. I'm kind of giving up on that microgreen project right there. It's just kale anyways. And we got kale coming up here. That's all kale. So we're going to put those in the garden and have kale to eat, hopefully. Man, these are the watermelons that was my buddy's. My buddy harvested those watermelons from his garden last year, and I saved all the seeds. So one's a Big Max, a really big watermelon, and the one is the little baby icebox watermelons, and they're so sweet. That's such a good one. Yeah, and the gourmet mixed greens are coming along, and they even got their first leaf. This big leaf is their first real leaf. So once the second one comes out, we can start harvesting that and eating out of it. And these haven't put on their first leaf yet. I mean, these are like, this is the sprout leaf. Like when it comes out of the seed, this is the first leaf. What we're looking for is 2 real leaves coming out of there. And then they'll be ready to start harvesting. A little early. I mean, you really should wait for probably 3 leaves on these before you start harvesting, but we planted them so close that as soon as we got one good leaf, we're gonna thin this out and start eating salad. Yeah, need salad. And salad's pretty hard to keep when you don't have a refrigerator. So, you know, when I go to town once a week, I get some salad stuff for the first couple days, but then the cooler, you know, the ice melts and yeah, it just doesn't work out. So I gotta go and run some errands. I got to do one more load, wheelbarrow load full of dirt for the garden, and then that thing will be done. And then I have 2 more posts to put up, and then we'll put the fence around it. And the fence isn't going to look that great. You know, I was trying to do it out of natural stuff, but eventually here, when I get the money and the time and a vehicle, a truck or something to run to the hardware store, I need to just get some T-post. I was trying not to have to buy that. I was trying to just use wood on the property for the post, which we are using that, so we'll see how well it goes. But I have a feeling I'm going to need to put at least 4 T-posts in there to really make sure that that fence is sturdy. Yeah, so we're going to deal with that later. And yeah, everything's going well. Man, cabin's here. It's so crazy. Man, these are so crazy. Look at these zucchinis. These are the pumpkins. This is the summer squash. Man, all of those are ready to go. You know, these are really small trays, so I got to either put these in solo cups and let them go a little bit longer in the greenhouse, or I got to find a garden bed space for them. Man, so we're growing and we got a cabin. Things are going great. Day 40, out at the 100-acre plantation. Oh, man, so nice to have the cabin. Just ran to town, got a sandwich, and got some drinks for tonight to celebrate. Celebration in the woods. Solo celebration tonight. Yeah. Friday night. Before we get to the celebration, though, I do got to haul one more wheelbarrow of dirt up to the garden space and put the head net on and then finish the fence. I need to get the fence up because potatoes are coming up and we're about 4 or 5 days away from when we're going to plant all the squashes and pumpkins and stuff in the garden. So I got to get the fence up so the rabbits aren't messing with that. But man, it's pumped. It's funny, you know, some days are really hard out here, and the last 4 or 5 days have been pretty rough with the bugs between the mosquitoes and the punkies or the black flies. I was having a rough time, but now that the building's here, I'm feeling good. And today was so sunny and nice that the bugs, I mean, there's still a lot of bugs out there, but they're not as bad. You know, during the sunny times of the day, they kind of go into hiding. I'm sure when the sun starts going down tonight, they're going to be really bad. But when the sun's going down, the sunset is happening, and the sunset is so epic out here that gives you energy, and that kind of makes you feel positive, even though the bugs are all around you swarming. It's just weird. Some things make you feel positive and give you that positive energy and that boost you need to like get through, and then some days it's just cloudy and the bugs are really thick and the projects you were working on aren't going well, and you kind of have a bummed out day. You know, that happens every once in a while, and the last couple days were kind of like that because I was just having a hard time. Plus I was building that platform and I was using the bow saw, and it's almost impossible to get a straight cut with the bow saw. So there's like a bunch of the boards that I have on that thing have a little bit of a gap on them, but I'm just going to get some brackets. I'm going to order some brackets from homedepot.com and have them sent here. Like joist brackets that they would put under a floor in a house. If I put some of those on it, it'll be more than stable. I mean, it's stable how it is anyways because I put 3 nails in each one. But I'm going to put some of those joist brackets in before we put the plywood down and put the canvas tent on, just to make sure I have a little bit more firmness to the whole thing. And because like I said, the cuts aren't straight, so like they're as straight as I could get them with the bow saw, but on some of them there's some space. It's not squared off completely. It's not completely plumb, which sucks. But tomorrow or the next day, my new saw comes, and I bought a miter box, which I don't know if you know what that is, but I'll show you when I get it. But a miter box, at least when you're framing 2x4s, which we're going to do an interior wall in the cabin, so the bedroom's kind of separate from the living area. Just a really small wall, but that way when I'm sleeping, it'll block the light coming in from the windows, and if someone like look through, they can't like see right into the bedroom, you know. I don't know why, but for some reason that bothers me, so I want to have like a wall there. It's like only like a half wall, you know, so then the heat can still come in and out when the wood stove's going. But yeah, anyways, I bought a miter box so I can get straight cuts to make sure they're straight for sure. You know, when you're using a handsaw and you're not a skilled tradesman, it's hard to get a really straight cut, but you need a straight cut so the building and so the walls and everything is plumb. So I'm feeling good today. I got a sandwich from the sandwich shop down the road and a couple Jim Beam drinks. Jim Beam and ginger ale, one of my favorite. And I got a couple of the White Russians too. Gonna be a party tonight up in here. But I still have a couple hours of work. I got like 3 or 4 hours of work I gotta put in. And I gotta go and get water, and I need to get one more run of campfire wood, which it's so warm tonight we'll probably have a fire outside and not even fire up the stove in here. The only problem is I need camp water, and for water to be processed and clean enough that I want to bathe in it and everything, I do have to usually fire up the stove, or I have to build a rack and get the 3-gallon pot over the fireplace, over the fire pit outside. But yeah, we got the next 3 hours to work all that out, and then we'll have some drinks and enjoy this Friday night. Super psyched the cabin's here. Day 40. It's looking good out here. Alright, this should about top it off. And the ryegrass I didn't plant early enough. It did come up throughout the whole garden, but it didn't get really tall. And once I cover it with this like 6 inches of soil, it's just gonna die off. But hopefully it's putting some nitrogen in the soil, adding just some more organic matter. It's supposed to be nitrogen fixing, but I think it's supposed to grow it to like 8 to 10 inches and then do a chop and drop on your garden. That's usually what they use it, how they use it. And the hugelkultur garden is coming along. There's already some weeds coming up in this one spot that doesn't have hay on it, definitely. But even down there on the sides, I have to spend a day doing some weeding here. Or one of these mornings is probably the best time to do that. But coming along. I got to figure out the water situation, because hauling all the water to these gardens is going to be a nightmare. So hopefully the auger we have works and we hit water within 20 feet, and we can put a pitcher pump well over here, like right there. The lowest part up here is like right there where all these trees are growing. So I think that's a good spot. I'm gonna have to do that in the next couple days sometime. But this is the last wheelbarrow going in, and then we just gotta cover this. We're gonna put the cow manure down, and then put this lobster, this organic lobster compost meal stuff down, and then we gotta cover it all in grass. Wood chipper is still not come. It's shipped from Home Depot, but it has not, for some reason, made it to UPS, who's gonna deliver it. So I don't know. It says that it should be here by the 13th no matter what, and it's the 7th today. But we need to cover all these gardens with a lot of grass first anyways. I want to have a good grass layer, and then we'll put the chips on top of the grass layer, and then everything should stay really moist and break down really well. But I'm gonna finish this, and then I guess, yeah, I gotta put this fence up. I gotta get this fence up. So this is what we got so far. It's not that great, but we're gonna put a couple more stakes over here, and then we'll put the 3 sides of the fence up. And then I still have to figure out what I'm gonna do about the front, because I kind of like a gate. I mean, maybe I'll just have a piece of fencing that it goes across and latches over here that I can just take off and roll up and open this all up when I'm working in here, and then at night just put it back up. That probably makes the most sense. I'm gonna dump this last bucket here. So many different layers down here of dirt. I get to like the sand and mixed with clay layer under the organic stuff, but this is the organic stuff, and we're just looking for the stuff with a lot of wood chips in it. And if there's worms in it, that's a good sign, you know. If there's worms in it, it means it is soil that can sustain life, which is what we're trying to do here. We need soil that has enough stuff going on in it that it's going to grow plants, and the worms are a pretty good sign of that. So if you're in a soil that has lots of worms in it, you're probably in pretty good growing soil. If it's too sandy, you won't find any worms. You'll find ants, which that's not what you want. All right, I'm out of breath on that last trip. I put another one on there actually to make it really look full. Now I gotta go collect grass, because we want to put the grass down, and I might go to the store tomorrow or the next day and get another bag of this. So I think I need more than 1 bag for this big of a spot. And it's probably supposed to have like 6 bags, but I usually only do half of what it says. So I'll put 3 bags down here probably. But we're gonna get all the grass first, because we want to get the grass so when we put the cow manure down, and the rest of the fertilizer down, put grass over it, and then hopefully when it rains this week it'll stay wet from that point on. You know, this side's already getting a little dry, but it's not that bad because it rained yesterday in the morning for a while. But once we get it covered in a really thick layer of grass, this stuff will stay wet for days, and hopefully I won't have to put more than like, I don't know, 10 gallons a day on it. I'm gonna have to haul all the water for this, so I don't want this whole garden space to take more than 20 gallons a day, because that's a lot of hauling. That's a lot of hauling I'd have to do. But you know, I do want to get all these gardens going, and the spring is going to take me a little while, or the well is going to take me a little while to figure out. But maybe sometime next week I can spend some time working on the well, and I can get a little pump pitcher set up right here close to this garden. I'm definitely going to put one down by the cabin, and down by the cabin I'm really close to the water table. It's probably only going to be 9-10 feet. But up here I think it's probably like 20 feet before we'll hit water. So that's a little harder. But even if I can get one down by the cabin that's producing enough water for this stuff, then that's a shorter haul for me than going down to the spring that we have right now. All right, well, I'm gonna cut some poles for this fence now that all this stuff is ready. It's so weird. You come down the driveway and you remember, oh yeah, there's an entire house here, or at least a cabin. A nice living space. So sweet. But I'm not planning on moving in. I think I'm gonna try to do some of the interior work before I move in, and canvas tent's just so nice. This is the best time of the year to be in the canvas tent. Well, actually fall is the best time of the year, but this is a really nice time because it's way cooler in the tent than anywhere else. Well, big old field. Big old field to clear grass from. Fairly early in the morning, not too early, on day 41. And I'm up at the guy who runs the town hall. He has a field across the street from his house, and he cut the grass yesterday, and he told me I could come and fill all his trash barrels with grass if I was gonna help rake it up, and we'll bring it over to the garden so I can use it as mulch and compost mix. So every time he cuts this, I'm probably just gonna come over and grab most of this grass and put it in a pile over on the property. There is a lot of dandelions in here that have already gone to seed, which probably can cause a problem, but dandelions are pretty easy to pull up as far as weeds go. So, I mean, if I got a lot of dandelion weeds, that will suck. But if I put a really thick layer of this grass mix on top of the garden, the dandelion leaves, the dandelions shouldn't be able to germinate. There should be too much sun blockage going on for them to germinate. So fingers crossed on that.
All right, fingers crossed.
Hopefully we don't get all kinds of dandelions, but after we put this first layer on the garden, everything else that we collect from him, we're just gonna put in a pile and let it sit for the summer. And then in fall, when we go to prep the garden for next year, we'll put it all on the garden. And then we don't have to worry about the seeds, because all the seeds will die this summer as they sit in the compost pile. But yeah, free compost, free organic material. I had to take them up on the offer, and we're gonna get those gardens covered today. So that'll help with watering a lot, save a lot of water. I think if I put enough mulch down, I should be able to get by with mostly just rain, because in Maine it rains pretty much at least once a week. So for the most part I should be able to get away with rain and only have to put like 30 or so gallons on each of those beds. But we'll see how dry it gets and how much water I really need. But all this mulch is definitely going to help. Got 5 barrels so far. Oh man, this gourmet lettuce is blowing up. Days away from having our first salad out of this thing. It definitely needs to be thinned out, but we want to wait until these leaves are, I don't know, like that big. Once all these leaves are that big, they'll be really crowded, and we'll go through and just thin them out. And We'll leave all the ones on the edges. All the ones that are on the furthest edges we'll leave and let them keep growing to term. And we'll just cut these ones every once in a while. I haven't been using filtered water on this though, which I think I'm gonna have to start using boiled water on this one patch, just because I get water on the whole thing and I don't want to get like beaver fever or something from the water being bad. So as we get closer to starting to harvest some of this, we're gonna start using sterile water on this one plant. All the other ones don't really matter because we're not gonna eat that part. You know, like these squashes and stuff, it doesn't really matter. This kale, it'll matter once the kale gets bigger, but it'll be in the garden by then. Look at this sweet corn. It's taken off. I gotta figure out where we're gonna plant a row of sweet corn. I'm not sure where we're gonna do that yet. Maybe on the back side of the organic ground garden, I guess. All kinds of stuff going. Awesome. And these beets still aren't doing anything. They are growing, but they haven't put off their first leaf yet. I see them setting up. They do actually two leaves at a time, so there'll be 2 full leaves here soon. And once there's 2 full leaves here, we're gonna thin this out and start eating it too. Went and helped the neighbor collect some grass off his yard because we needed the grass, and now we have enough grass to cover both of the gardens completely. So it's time to start planting. I'm gonna look at the weather though, figure out which day it's planning on raining, and we're gonna plant the morning or maybe the night before, depending on when the rain's gonna come, but we'll plant on a day that it's gonna rain, and then everything will get watered in right after, and that'll help on the watering. And hopefully we have enough grass mulch covering the garden that these gardens hold water, because I'm only going to be able to do like 10 or 20 gallons in each place a day at the most. That's going to be a lot of hauling water until I can figure out the well. But we're going to dig a shallow well here soon. Let's see how that goes too, but I think it's going to go well. At least down by the cabin. The water is going to be pretty close to the surface, so that's where we're going to dig the first one, I guess. And if that works, this land up here is about 18-20 feet higher, so we'll probably hit the water. We should be able to tell how deep we dug down by the camp and just add like 18 feet to it, and that's how deep we're gonna have to dig to get water here at the garden. So I don't know, I gotta get some stuff put together before we're gonna work on that. Everything's growing, things are going. Day 41. Pretty awesome. Got a cabin, got all kinds of stuff going on. Hanging out with the guy from the town hall. Everything in this area has worked out pretty good. Much better than in the last property. The last property, the people who ran the town were a nightmare. They didn't want to deal with anybody. They weren't friendly at all. People up here are really friendly. Alright, well, I'm going to get back to doing some gardening. Spread the grass out over those garden spaces. Well, that pile's gone, and I only ended up covering this one. I wanted to make sure there was a lot on this one. This one's out of the ground, and it's a little sandier than that other one, so I want to get a lot of coverage on it so I don't have to worry about having to water it all the time, I think it's going to rain sometime the next 2 days, and then we're going to put the squash and zucchinis in, and the pumpkins. They seem like they're ready, and all the kind of stuff like that. Probably put a row of cucumbers on the back too, and then we'll put some stakes going to the stakes on the fence and let the cucumbers grow up those and hang off of them. And we'll do the same thing with green beans around the edge of this garden and let them grow kind of on a pole. You can hear. Alright, well, got this thing covered. It's pretty much ready. Need some rain though. Oh yeah. Look at all these potatoes. Looking great. Well, there's half of the fence. See, it comes down and then it bends over. And I can either stake that down or I can go around with the shovel and dig a trench and then put the sod back on it, burying like, I don't know, 10 inches of the bottom of this chicken wire. It's kind of big holed. Ordered it on Amazon. I definitely would have ordered something with smaller holes than that. But that'll keep the rabbits out and all the big animals out that we need to keep out. And all the small animals can usually climb chicken wire anyway, so probably won't matter much. And like I said, we're gonna dig this all up with the shovel and then place it back on top of it. And that'll essentially bury 10 inches of this thing. So if something tries to dig down along the fence, they'll just hit fencing and they'll give up pretty quick. So it goes all the way around. Got to get some more sticks right here and figure out what I'm going to do about this last section. I got more chicken wire, so we're gonna set it up so it comes along here and unhooks so we can easily get the chicken wire out of the way when we're trying to work in here. I want the front to be open so we can bring the wheelbarrow in and everything. So coming along. Day 41. Garden's pretty much ready. By tomorrow morning, it'll definitely be ready, and I gotta go check the weather, but it's gonna rain the next couple days, so I gotta plan that out, because when it rains, we're planting the squash on the back half of this hugelkultur bed. It certainly is ready, so hopefully we get some rain though. We need some rain, actually. I mean, we got a lot of rain this spring, but my land up here is so dry up here at the top that more rain we get, the better this year. I don't know if you guys can see that. All you can see is the reflection. I kind of just stirred up the water, but that water is pretty dang clean. Definitely doesn't have any beaver or moose scat in it. So if I water the lettuce that we're going to be eating straight out the garden with this, we shouldn't have to worry about getting beaver fever or anything crazy. This is where we tried to tap the spring on the hill here. Goes up like that, but definitely have a nice little well here that's definitely collecting water, and before I collected water it was all crystal clear. So I gotta figure something out. Maybe if I get a bunch of stones or maybe a couple 5-gallon buckets of gravel from the road that we just had brought in, line the bottom and the sides of this, and I should at least have like a little shallow well here I can collect water from until we can get the auger going and dig a shallow well and put a pitcher pump on it. But that's a pretty clean bucket of water. Can't complain about that. So bring that up to the garden space. Nice, flaming up good. Went and collected a bunch of firewood for the wood stove. Got some stuff processed down over there. Gathered camp water, and I figured I had a pizza box from the other day, sometime last week, that I needed to burn and get rid of. So I figured I'd light up the campfire. Saturday night by the campfire. I was hoping it would also help with these mosquitoes. The mosquitoes are really thick once the sun starts going down. I mean really thick, but the black flies have slowed down a lot. I'd say another week and they'll pretty much be tapered out for the most part. You might get a few here and there, but there's not going to be any more hordes. But the mosquitoes horde every night for the whole summer till fall, till the end of fall really. So gotta deal with the skeeters. That's a good way to do it. All right, well, I'm gonna chill by the fire for the rest of the evening, maybe have a couple drinks I guess, and get back to it in the morning. So see you guys in the AM. Figured I should come up to the platform and check out the sunset real quick. Pretty cool. Not enough clouds to really make it crazy epic, but it's nice. This platform still has like, I don't know, a couple hours of work I need to do on it. And I don't know, I guess we might stay in the cabin for a night, move everything down there, and then put the platform on this put the canvas tent on this platform, and yeah, then move back up here to the tent for the summer. That cabin's a winter spot for sure. Just enjoying sunsets out here at the 100 acres. Yeah, Saturday night campfire. Whoop whoop. Morning and day 43. I said this before, but always keep some coals. Put your fire out with water. You know, like really put it out with a lot of water when there's still a lot of coals left. Don't burn it down just to pot ash. Like don't burn it down to nothing. Because when you go to start this fire again next time, you put all your stuff on top of that and it'll all dry out in the sun after like a day or two, or usually one day, you know. If you have the fire one night and put it out, and the next day all that water will dry up out of it, at least enough of it that you can start it no problem. And then when you build your fire on top of it, once you get that going, it'll light all those coals back up and you'll have a really nice amber base, and you'll be able to put much bigger punky and wet wood on it a lot quicker. If you let it burn down to ash, you've basically got to build that whole amber base with all the small material you started the fire with. And you don't want to do that. Not with your outdoor fire, you know. In the cabin, that's good because you can take out all that ash and put it in the pan. But out here, you want to keep coals in here. And then you can just put a small little fire in there and it will start all that stuff back up, and you can put big chunky stuff right on it. Little tip. Well, I think today I got to do some greenhouse stuff. I don't know, I'm thinking about even transplanting some of those squashes into solo cups for now. And giving them a little more time in the greenhouse, but they're getting crowded already in that little starter tray. But I'm gonna go over to the town hall guy's place and rake up the rest of that grass, because we covered one garden, but we need all that grass he has over there. And it's free. All I have to do is do some raking for him, and I can take it all, and he'll even bring it over in his truck. So good deal. I got to go over there and do some raking for a couple hours, and then when I get back tonight, we're still just trying to get the garden squared away. We need to get that thing finished up and get it all ready. So in the next week, you know, next big rainy day is the day we're planting. We're gonna plant everything on the next big rainy day. And then I should be ahead of the water situation, and then I can just stay on it every single morning at like 8 o'clock in the morning. I go out there and put 10 to 20 gallons on each of those patches. So that's 2 trips to the river with 2 5-gallon buckets. Or not to the river, but to the little the spring well that we have going. So that's a lot of water and a lot of hauling. And then I have to get another 5-gallon bucket for the stuff in the greenhouse. And then I need a 5-gallon bucket for camp water. So basically 40 gallons or something I have to haul every day. By hand, 10 gallons at a time. So, but that's not that bad. It's only 4 trips, and it's really not that far now that we've dug that little well hole. Oh, better get to the day. Oh, cabin's here now. Come to get the dozer. Take all the equipment off the property. Well, end of the night. Sun's setting over there. We'll go over to the platform and check it out in a little while. Getting to the bottom of the barrel on supplies. Cooking a can of raviolis on some aluminum foil. Pretty lame tonight. Burn out the can and get all the smell out of it before we throw it in the recycling. Yeah, those are cheese raviolis, so it doesn't have that funky meat in them, but they're still not that great, that's for sure. But they only have cheese in the middle and marinara sauce. I mean, as far as Chef Boyardee goes, it's the best one for sure. Alright, well, end of Sunday night. Means it's pretty much the end of episode 6 and the end of week 6. Tomorrow morning we'll be going into week 7. Tomorrow morning I gotta go into town and get some more supplies. I need to fill the cooler with meat and get some salad stuff. Hopefully one last time. Hopefully the garden will be producing all of our salad stuff after this. And I'm going to stop at the laundromat and clean all my clothes. It's been 2 weeks since I was there last. So every 2 weeks go in and clean all the clothes. Eventually it'll be every Monday. Every Monday I'll go to the store and go and clean clothes. Oh man, these bugs are killing me. But yeah, end episode 6. Well, the end will be over on the platform. We'll go to the platform and check out the sunset in about a half an hour once it gets a little bit lower. Grab a drink or something. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. End of the night. Week 6, end of week 6. Sunday night. Look at that sunset. Another epic one. Whenever there's clouds in the sky, it's got so much depth. It's just so crazy. Great sunset here. Love it. Well, that's definitely the end of episode 6 now. And episode 7 is going to be the last one of season 1. Do one more episode, 7 episodes. And man, these mosquitoes are hoarding right now. It's like zombie apocalypse and mosquitoes out here. But at the end of next week, at the end of episode 7, it will be the end of spring. And we'll be going into the first week of summer. So we'll start season 2 with the next season. But that's the end of episode 6 for now. Make sure you guys rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all on episode 7.